For too long, the sports arena had stood empty. The old barn hadn't seen a professional hockey game for about 6 years. But then a group of hockey enthusiasts changed all of that.
The group that I'm involved with was interested in getting professional sports franchise. We decided that the East Coast Hockey League was the best way to go. And through the East Coast Hockey League's help, it was narrowed down to, well, the northern teams at the time needed support, so it was narrowed down to either a Dayton or a Toledo. I felt Toledo was a better choice, and so I took it.
The first major task was to find a coach.
After an exhaustive 2-month search, the Toledo Storm has found its head coach. After reviewing our requirements, that is previous ECHL coaching experience, strong ties to Toledo fans, and a general acceptance by the Toledo business community, the Toledo Storm is proud to announce Chris McSorley as head coach and director of hockey operations. I'd like Chris to join me here.
Actually, I wasn't even a candidate. Not even a candidate. I didn't even make the initial call. Believe it or not, a very good friend of mine, Danny Savick, he called me when I was just hiding in Nashville. I mean, I was so embarrassed over the situation I was in Richmond, and he just gave me a call and said, "Hey, you're crazy if you don't apply for the job." And I thought about it a bit, and I realized I still had a bit of the bite in me when it come to the hockey bug. And I called up Barry one day, and I basically told him, I said, "I'm your man if you'll be the right one for me." But it was both a chance for both of us to have a chance to discover each other, because I was not going to walk into poor ownership again. And undeniably, I've got by far the finest ownership in the league.
Next came the big announcement of the affiliation with the Detroit Red Wings.
When we first started putting together the Toledo Storm franchise, we wanted to make sure that we had a real good National Hockey League affiliation, somebody that we could work real close with, get players, transfer them back and forth. And I didn't want just any club. I wanted somebody from the Norris Division, and I really liked Detroit Red Wings. Their proximity to where we are just really seemed to work well. And I'm here today to tell you that that's one of our goals that we accomplished. The Toledo Storm has reached an agreement with the Detroit Red Wings to be one of the Wings affiliates for the 91-92 hockey season. Most of the credit for this belongs to the two men who will run their clubs, Chris McSorley and Nick Polano.
Guys like Nick Polano, come directly into mind when you mention the Detroit Red Wings. I mean, for what he's had a chance to work with me and the tightness he helped create between our two affiliations. But you have to also mention the Brian Murrays, the Dougie McLeans, the David Lewis, Barry Melrose. They always allow me that chance to rebound any information off them to try to help me be a better coach and help me to develop the players better. And Dan Belisle, director of pro scouting, was down here constantly to help support the younger kids and give them that extra push that they needed. The kids don't ever want to feel too far away from mother. And by wearing the Detroit colors, by being so close, by constantly having Detroit staff in our building, it helped our players, let's just say, not go out there and take advantage of maybe not being out of sight. They came to work every night, and with the aid of Detroit, they allowed that to happen.
A training camp was held, and it was obvious that the new coach would have his hands full weeding out the talent.
I knew we were going to be a good team. I mean, basically, you don't want to look at your overall picture. You want to look at individual pictures. And I qualified a Mike Maurice. I qualified a Castleman. I qualified Pilipuk. I mean, Pahalski. You want to qualify each player, and then when you have 15 qualifiers, basically, you're going to have yourself a pretty strong team. I knew, man for man, that we're going to be one of the toughest teams in the league.
Finally, the first game of the regular season. Thousands of fans filled the old barn, anxiously waiting as Storm owner Barry Soskin and league president Pat Kelly dropped the ceremonial first puck. The fans were wondering what the new team would be like. It didn't take long for them to find out.
Now off the face-off, Cruikshank gets it, tries to work it up to Powers. He's unable to do anything with it. Held in by the Storm. Now tried to center over, shot, he scores! Storm lead here 1-0. 25 seconds into the opening period. The puck over on the right wing side. And it looked like Bruce McDonald got his stick on it and just put it by history.
The Storm went on to handily win their home opener by the score of 9-4. From then on, the Storm literally blew away just about every opponent. The team netted a league-best 367 goals, and the fans were treated to some of the prettiest scoring ever seen.
Bombers end as the Bombers try to bring it back other direction. Keith Miller now has it stolen off his stick by McCaughey. In alone on a breakaway, and on Bosun. Backhand shot, he scores! Fred McCaughey, the Storm lead 2-0. Now McDonald kicks it ahead without a stick in the right wing corner to Stone through the right circle. Takes his shot, cuts in front of shot, he scores! John Stone, what a goal! Stone could not get his stick on it. Now he played it back to Roberts along the right wing boards to Flanagan at the right point, walking in top of the right circle with a slap shot. He scores! Dave Flanagan! Storm on top, 6-1. Kesselman carries through center ice for Toledo with a slap shot. Oh, and it almost deflected by Mike Greenlay as Greenlay misjudged the puck as it played off the stick of his defenseman. Now out in front of the Knoxville net, they score! Mike Kesselman! The Storm on top, 1-0. Now Pahalski steals by the Knoxville line, in alone on goal. Pahalski scores! Greg Pahalski, shorthanded goal, Storm on top, 3-1. Pulls it down to the neutral zone. Lubicic is there to intercept, carries into the Roanoke Valley end. Lubicic now in the right wing corner for the Storm, swings the net, tries to work it in front, he scores! Ed Lubicic and the Storm leads here by the score 1-0. Puck to McCaughey for the Storm, to Stone. 2-on-1 for Toledo. Stone to McCaughey, in with a wrist shot, he scores! Fred McCaughey, shorthanded goal, Toledo's second of the night. Looks over the situation, Greg Pahalski now. Still controlling on the right wing boards, deals it up to Maurice, who walks in front, shot, he scores! Mike Maurice, Storm on top, 4-1. Backhands it up behind the Toledo net as St. Demore is in to get a stick on the puck. He tried to center it in front of the net, and Cyclones tried to work a scoring opportunity that went off the side of the net. Now Castleman intercepts, into the breakaway, alone, in on Romaine. Castleman with a backhand shot, he scores! Mike Castleman, a short-handed goal. The Storm on top by the score of 2-1. Pahalski now along the right wing boards, sends it out to Booth with the drive, and he puts it wide of the net. It comes up now to Pahalski in the right circle, walking in with the wrist shot, he scores! What a shot by Greg Pahalski, top shelf! Greg Pahalski for that Toledo Storm, and they lead here 7-1, and for Pahalski it'll be his 16th tally of the season coming on the power play. Broken up by Prasnik to McDonald in on a partial break. McDonald, he scores! Storm on top, 6-1. Flanagan cuts back into his zone, now carries over the red line. Flanagan now has a poke checked off his stick, and now Burns for Toledo carries into the Roanoke Valley, and the drive, he scores! Tony Burns, and Toledo on top, 2-0. Now a battle forward in the right wing corner in the Columbus end, picked up there by Maurice, out front shot, he scores! Mike Maurice, what an effort! Castleman clears into the right wing corner in the Erie end. Now a loose puck. Fleming takes a whack at it. Now Gall being forechecked by Castleman, who'll stole the puck. He swings the net. He tried to stop it. A goal! Toledo on top, 4-0. Stone to Castleman through center to Flanagan with a burst of speed, and on goal in the right circle with a wrist shot and a pad save by Greenlay as he came across, and Stone scores! Toledo leads 6-2. Booth now works it on up ahead to McCaughey at center, to Stone over the Louisville line. Stone now with a centering pass in front, he scores! Fred McCaughey, the Storm leads here 2-1. Talking out to center ice, McCaughey and Roberts, 2-on-1 momentarily. Now Castleman trailing the play up to Maurice. Maurice on the left wing side to Roberts, he scores! Alex Roberts, Storm on top, 7-1. Now Prasnik clears to center ice to Castleman over the Ice Hawks line. Castleman cuts into the slot with a wrist shot. He puts it wide of the Louisville net. McCaughey was hauled down. Now here's a pass to Prasnik with a wrist shot. He scores! Jody Prasnik, the Storm on top, 3-1. Storm bring it back other direction. Aubrey to Weeb in the left circle. Weeb, he scores! Dan Weeb, Storm on top, 6-0. It may not make Chris McSorley happy either, since he's the person who made the change for Toledo. Now off the face-off, The puck back by the left point. Roberts held it in, deals it into the slot to Flanagan with the backhand shot. He scores! Dave Flanagan, the Storm on top by the score of 3-0. Get it going. Steers now to Lubicic over the Nashville line. Big Ed Lubicic with a wrist shot that goes wide of the Nashville net. A loose puck in front of the net. The Storm score. They tie it at 2-2. Stone in on it for the Storm. Broken up by Rolf. The puck comes up now along the left wing boards. Booth into pinch from the left point. Holds it in for Toledo. Up to McCaughey alone in front. Now Paholski with a shot. He scores! Rick Paholski and the Storm on top by the score of 2-0. Out to the neutral zone. And a 4-on-2 for Toledo. Paholski to Stone. Return to Paholski. Back to Stone. He scores! John Stone, the Storm lead here by the score of 3-0. Now the puck loose along the right wing boards. It comes ahead to Starber for the Storm. 2-on-1 with Castleman. Make it 2-on-2. Starber to Maurice on the right side with a wrist shot. It's blocked before it reaches the Nashville net. Now Bannister at the left point. Up ahead to Maurice with a shot. He scores! Mike Maurice and Toledo on top 4-0. Now McDonald at center ice deals it into the Louisville zone. Now intercepted by Weeb and on goal. A shot. He scores! Dan Weeb, Storm on top by the score of 2-0. Puck up along the right wing boards as McCaughey tries to chop it into the right wing corner. Comes to Lomo with a centering pass to McCaughey, who could not handle it in the slot. Top of the left circle. Roberts shooting and the save by Gowans. The puck loose in front. A turnaround. He scores! Mike Castleman. Storm quickly on top. 1-0. Back to play it. He clears it up to center ice. Derek Booth is there for the Storm. Up to Don Stone. To Flanagan now in the right circle with a slap shot. He scores!
What a
Dave
shot.
Flanagan hat trick. The Storm on top. 8-0. Now Florio in the right wing corner tries to clear it. Hit referee Frank Vicaretti and was held in. Stone now in the right circle. The centering pass and the Storm score! Rick Paholski. The game is tied at 3. Never made it to the Toledo net. Now Weeb over the Louisville line. Cuts in towards the slot. Weeb in a hat trick hit. Left circle. He scores! Dan Weeb another hat trick for the Storm. They lead 9-0. Now cleared out to the neutral zone. Here's Laganis over the Toledo line. Tried to shovel it in. It's cleared back to center ice. Eric Lamarck with it for the Monarchs. Now McCaughey breaks in, takes a whack in, and he scores! Grant McCaughey! Whoa! So with the game tied, play continues now behind the Toledo net. Pilipiuk starts it out. He deals it up ahead to Aubrey at center over the red line, up by the Knoxville line. Centering pass to Stone. Stone is knocked down. There's going to be a Knoxville penalty. Now Flanagan, he scores! Dave Flanagan, the Storm leads by the score of 2-1. Right across the Knoxville line as he got it to Paholski, who steered it to Maurice on the right wing corner. Now the Cherokees come up with it. Presnick holds it in, deals to Paholski left circle. Paholski with a centering pass to McDonald. He scores! Bruce McDonald, Storm on top by the score of 3-1. He knocks it out to center ice now to McCaughey over the Columbus line. McCaughey in the right wing corner swings the chill net. Centering pass for Castleman. He scores! What a play by Brad McCaughey! And the loose puck slides through the goal mouth as McCaughey took a whack at it. Now, puck in the right wing corner. Weave tries to play it to Paholski. Now sends it to Maurice. Now shovels it to McCaughey. He scores! Brad McCaughey and Toledo on top 2-1. And missed the puck altogether. Now Stone over the Roanoke line and on goal with a shot. He scores! Don Stone, a shorthanded goal with just a second left on the Byron Lolo penalty. As the Storm tries to clear the zone, it comes out to Castleman at center, now to Flanagan over the Panthers line. Flanagan in the left circle, cuts in front with a shot. He scores! Dave Flanagan, what a stick handling move! Around as Andy Ross was in for the Panthers to try to forecheck and hold it in. Now Duval, a pinch from the right point for the Panthers, and he held it in. Pilipiuk for Toledo knocks it out to Starber over the Panthers line with a partial break. Starber with a wrist shot, he scores! Pete Starber, Toledo leads 6-1.
In one of the most memorable games, Brad McCaughey netted a team record 6 goals.
Maurice against Granado on the face-off. Maurice wins it. Now to Castleman, to McCaughey shooting, he scores! Storm on top, 2-0, power play goal. Now for the Storm, to Blum to McCaughey at center. McCaughey to Cowan breaking over the Columbus blue line. Cowan with a centering pass to McCaughey. He scores! Brad McCaughey, second goal of the night. Krasnick comes up with it and clears it down the length of the ice into the Columbus end. Now Castleman centering pass to Morey. A shot. Rebound as McCaughey had an open net miss. McCaughey with another shot. He scores. Brad McCaughey a hat trick. Now they knock it out to center ice. The Storm do. McCaughey tries to come in on goal shot. He scores. Brad McCaughey, the Storm on top. 6-0 in for Brad McCaughey. That's his 4th goal of the night. His 8th of the season. Play on in the Columbus end along the left wing boards. They try to work it up to the center. McCaughey fell down. Now McDonald in the left circle sends it back up front to McCaughey. He scores! Brad McCaughey, his 5th goal of the night. So now play continues. Castleman lead pass to McCaughey. Shoots, he scores! Brad McCaughey has a double hat trick. His 6th goal of the night.
McCaughey would actually fire home a 7th goal, but the tally was never counted.
I think probably the game that stands out the most is the first game we had Claude Scott in, was the Johnstown game. That we came back, we were down 5-0, came back and scored 5 goals and beat them 6-5 in overtime, with Brad McCaughey getting the winner in overtime. That really gave us some credibility in the league. We played Johnstown, who had been one of the perennial favorites in the previous year. That it really brought the team together, the city behind us. That the whole situation that we wanted, the fan involvement, the players, really getting a feel of what winning is like. The Johnstown game was really something, and having Claude Scott here, the happy trumpeter, to bring it all together for us was really a memorable moment.
How about the Johnstown game when the referee gave them a goal with 2 seconds on the clock when the stick came from left field? You personally remember that one, all the trouble that one got me into. How about Cincinnati when Dennis DeRozier is throwing the water bottles at the referee?
I don't think the score had Dennis quite as irate as the fact is that he was losing to Toledo. I know Toledo has been a long-time nemesis of any of Dennis's teams, and when Dennis came in and seen his team was being humiliated at the hands of Toledo in our building, and the people and the fans are pretty unmerciless when it comes to, I imagine, trying to coach in front of those people. But I think Dennis more or less exploded due to just the fact it was Toledo, not really the score or the team.
The game of hockey is a fast-paced sport. The puck can be propelled at speeds greater than 100 miles per hour. But there's one player that stands in front of every shot. players also travel at great speeds, but it's not so much how fast they can skate, but how quickly they can stop. With all the speed and beauty, players will sometimes develop relationships with the opposition.
Well, the pie tradition started in Detroit sometime in the 50s, I believe. The 8 tentacles used to signify 8 wins that had to be won in order to take the Stanley Cup. And the Storm being a Red Wing affiliate, we decided to carry on the tradition here in Toledo last year, and it became such a hit with the fans and the team that we extended a bit and did the pie toss every game, just about.
I think the octopus is a great thing to happen. I mean, I think you can just go through the customary removal of the fan for the game, although if that fan never makes it to the exit door by security, I mean, I think it's great entertainment, and I think it was a great thing, and I really do hope to see octopus back on the ice again in Toledo next year.
One of the biggest problems we'll face this year, I think, is actually smuggling the pie into the sports arena. We were somewhat creative last year in our methods, but I'm sure the security force will be out in full swing again, and we'll just have to get creative on smuggling the pie into the arena.
I'd just like to say kudos to those guys who risked life and limb to be able to bring that octopus into the building, and maybe next year if they want to help with the aid of the Toledo Storm, you just might find a couple of inside jobbers to bring the octopus in for them. The Timmy Miles is sitting behind the bench. Let's just say it sure made our team play that much better defensively to build that picket fence around poor Mike Williams.
I know the players were scared, you know, that they looked down the bench whenever Mike Williams, you know, leaned the wrong way, you know, and made sure I was still awake and breathing, that I wasn't scared. I know Barry was scared. I know the fans were certainly scared.
Don't let Timmy know this, but if Timmy ever had to go in, believe it or not, Timmy could have done not a bad job.
The Storm finished off the regular season with a very impressive 46-15-3 record, good enough to win the Brabham Cup as the champion of the regular season. They entered the playoffs with high hopes, but because of key injuries and the promotion of others, the Storm ranks were severely depleted. They faced Louisville in the first-round best-of-7 series, winning the first game in overtime, but that was to be the last win of their season. Storm's fury had finally subsided.
Playoffs, to me, yes, I want that cup, but it just was not meant to be. I mean, you can't do as well as you did all year, have a team play as well as it did all year, and have the cup escape you. But if we had our roster, if we had Alex, if we had Derek, if we had Tony, if, no, I'm not going to sit here and make a lot of ifs. I'm going to tell you that if, you know, our job here is to help the horses escape the corral. I mean, it's nice being here, but if the horses are running well, you've got to let them go run a better race. And as Alex, as Derek, as Brad McCaughey did there, and you know, I know what we had, what we could have done, but at the same time, I'm so proud of what we've done as well.
I can't say enough about the fans or the business support that we've had in the community. Best in the league. Vocal, opinionated, just like me, did great. I can't say enough about it. You know, we had 93% capacity throughout 32 home games this year. Remarkable. You know, we only had 3 playoff games, and none of them were sellouts, and it was still the 3rd best average in the ECHL in the playoffs, our attendance.
I think we've got a lot to look forward to. We had some good players. We had some great fans. You know, we've got a lot to build on. We won the Brabham Cup. We had a good season. We were Western Division champions. Now all we've got to do is win the Riley Cup. So we've set our sights on that. We've got a good nucleus to build from. You know, I think the 92-93 season will be a great one here in Toledo.